This week's episode, we're going to look at Prunus Mume, or flowering apricot. Welcome back, everybody. This is 2021, beginning of the new year. Just some quick updates. This is my new backyard. You can do a quick check out. We have a giant play set that no one uses it, but Big Joe's gonna pick that up. That gives you an idea. This is gonna be my bonsai court area. And of course, I got a half an acre that's sitting back there. Big park for the kids. But this update, we're really looking at Prunus Mume, or flowering apricot. Really good time of the year to look at them because they're flowering. Beginning of the year, anywhere from early December all the way to about the first week of February. Prunus Mume, or flowering apricot, is really the big show in town. Really great flowers, really about 2 weeks, and after that, you kind of put that in the back shelf. So let me show you a couple of them I have in the ground, or not in the ground, but on the premise right now, and give you an idea of what they are, how they differ, and how to grow them. Here we have a Prunus Mume. That's not the dog. That's Buttercup, my guard dog there. But this is Prunus Mume. We dug this up about 2 years ago from Ed Clark. It was one of his bets that if I can get it out of the ground, I could have it. And of course, he has like adobe mud, so it took us 2 trips to go up. But give you an idea, Prunus Mume, most of them are yard trees. In Japan, they're grown as basically yard trees, and when they get to a certain caliber, they usually take them up to become bonsai, and they're long-living bonsai. Easily a couple of generations, 150 years, and then they start petering out. If you start looking, if you watch Bjorn Bjorn's episode on Prunus Mume, he talks about these trees living, in their first set about 150 years before they start slowing down. So it gives you an idea. These things are long living. Okay, and this is a contorted Prunus Mume. Okay, to you how we get that name, of course, is this contorted growing pattern. There are some straight branches, of course, like this guy right here, and that's a sport from it, and it is a double flowering white, and this variety, really big trunk. Have you seen this trunk before in real life? It is massive. It's a good two-hander. This is its 3rd generation. I just let it grow in about a 15-gallon pot you see there, and this is the 2nd year. I'm just letting it grow, trying to reinvigorate, figure out where it's its strong areas. These guys, the weakest branch is this guy right here. So Lindsay's are telling me to, Lindsay, other people are telling me to carve this out eventually. It only has 1 live branch. It's this one right in the back here. Right in the back, there's only 1 live branch on that guy. We'll see what we're going to do with it. But really massive trunk, really good flowering. And this guy's been in a heat pad for almost a year and a half. So I've been bottom heating this guy to give you a close-up of its contorted nature. See some of the branches. They do, that's not me wiring, that's just nature by itself. Extremely slow growing, especially the contorted branches. Have I noticed about this variety, the contorted Mume, it will push growth. It's just like any other Mume. You put it in the ground, full sun, water, fertilize the crap out of it, and it is pretty well in Southern Cal, surprising or not. Hard part's finding them. I've been on a quest looking for some of these Mumes, and what I found out is got to go to the garden supply stores and try to figure out. Here's 2 more I have. Of course, it's not a San Jose. It says San Jose for $350. I bought that from Bob Pressler about a year ago. He had one. It was a garden tree. Let's give a good look. This is a single bloom. Let me get it very close. Better. There's a single petal, so there's only 5 petals on one, not like the other one, which is in contorted was a double petal. And I wired this tree following Born Bjorn's April episode of how to wire Prunus Mume. And I did most of the wiring in April. A partial outer canopy defoliation on it, so almost all the canopy was defoliated except for the inner branches, the inner leaves, that is, left that intact. And it just shot out this year. I mean, it didn't do secondary growth, but I do have some really nice wiring on this. I call this nice. Some people might make fun of me, but it's okay. I'm a novice like most people here. Nice part about it is it will be a hen kenkai or a semi cascade. This, you're looking most likely the front, probably with that shari right there, right at the trunk line. It's probably the best front I could find in this tree. The pot most likely be very something similar to that thickness, probably blue. So if anybody has a pot like that and works for me, I love it. Blue, green, even red will work pretty well. Just if you look at the sepal, which sepal is the portion that protects the flower, it is red on this one. So something that complements are pretty much red, blue most likely probably be the best one for this one, or even a cream color pot be kind of interesting. Okay, so that's a single petal regular Prunus Mume. If you never had a Prunus Mume before, it has a very unique scent. I can't describe it. It has like a spicy, cinnamonish, cardamom kind of like smell. It's very welcoming of spring. These are harboring of spring in some of the Japanese literature. Here's another one. I found this one a lot easier to take care of other Prunus Mumes. This is a Peggy Clark, a very common pink double blossom or double blooming following apricot. I got that one. I think that was Vicky about a couple years ago. Reason I got it is just the trunk. The trunk was just spectacular on that one at that time. I'll give you a picture of the flower. There's flower. I'm not too sure you can see that. A little blurry, I apologize. But it is a double blossom pink Prunus Mume. Maybe in a show one day, I'm not sure. Yeah, you can tell my backyard's a mess right now. But if you're interested in having a Prunus Mume or flowering apricot bonsai, what you really need to look at is buy one that's flowering. I can't stress that enough. In Southern Cal, I was lucky enough. It took me a couple years to learn this lesson, is to buy something, any tree that you want that's flowering, that has been flowering or has been fruiting already. And that's really key. So let me give you another one. Here's a Shohin I had for a couple years now. I'm growing the main trunk just to reinvigorate. That tree is a Prunus Mume, has never blossomed in its lifetime. And I bought it assuming that it will flower, but these prunus trees, they will bloom when they're mature enough. Okay, and that could happen anywhere from 5 years, 7 years to 100 years. It really depends genetically on the tree when it's ready to bloom. Okay, here's one telltale sign that I've been playing with, and it's pretty accurate. I'm actually looking at the leaf. So if this was out of bloom, and you can hear it, and you can hear it here. Oh, let me pluck that leaf out. You hear it. It kind of sounds a little rough. Let me get a little closer to the mic here. Hear that? And if it's rough, and you feel the back of it, it's rough. It's what we call juvenile or immature foliage. So it's not ready to bloom just yet. Okay, that's a telltale sign for me. And then let me see if I can find most of the flowering ones. They dropped their leaves already. Here's another Prunus Mume. I got that from Fresno, and that's from Glenn Van Winkle. It's one of his trees. It bloomed once, And it's, if you listen to it, you can hear it's rough. That's a telltale sign for me. I have a, so I can find you something else here. I got other Prunus. That's gift from Lindsay Shiba. It is a contorted from his tree. That's gonna go in the front yard, I think, eventually. Here's another Prunus. And that's a Peggy Clark also. This is a one I got from Vicky a couple years ago. And I'm just need to wire that out and trying to ram 5 out, but I don't see any leaves anywhere. Let me try one more spot. Yes, you can see my tour of my backyard. It's awful, but so here's another Prunus. This is from a seed. This was collected from Lindsay's nursery. 3 seasons, 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons. It is brought back from a seed from China. It was from a Prunus that was flowering or growing by the Great Wall of China. It's been growing for, I don't know, he said 15, 20 years. Still hasn't flowered yet. So remember going back to that suggestion, if you're looking for flowering ume, make sure it's flowering before you buy them. So you're looking for those really, that flowering bud. Here's another one from some same family that we dug up from, and that one has really interesting nabari. I think when ready to repot, I'll show you that one. Let me go to a tree that I have in the ground in the back. All right, here's a Prunus ume. This is gonna be my statement tree when you look for my backyard. It was growing as a bonsai at one point, but it didn't have the taper, didn't have kind of lowering branches I wanted. So great flowering tree. So I decided to put this in the ground, and it just becomes a garden tree for now. You heard me, for now. It is a single petal white, and you can see those are the blooms. Hasn't flowered yet, but it'll probably flower within the next, probably my guess, the next 2 weeks. Probably be flowering. I don't see any foliage I can describe, but it is smooth. I mean, that's probably my easiest description for you guys. Let me go back to the bonsai trees so you can have a better view of them, an idea how to take care of them. All right. So, easy way to take care of falling apricots is let it flower. Once it's done flowering, what you need to do is find vegetative buds on the branch that you're selecting. So, like, all this will be cut back to the inner nodes, shortening everything. I let it grow this far just for thickening of the branches, reinvigorating the plant, and getting it to flower. But to keep its structure, you'll need to cut back pretty far every year to keep its structure very similar. As Bjorn said, you don't need to graft Prunus umes until they start slowing down. Slowing down is relative, 50, 60 years before they start being really aggressive growers. And then after that, you're gonna have to regraft onto it. So that tree has only been clipped and grown, has not been wired, truly wired. I'm gonna do that this year. So I'm gonna wait till it flowers. Once it's done flowering, I'm gonna cut it back pretty hard for ramification. Let it grow out, and around March, pretty much the first week, second week of March, or when you get these lengths that come out, 6 to 7 to 8 nodes long, that's when you start wiring them, and then just get some movement into them before they get really lignified and really tough to bend. Because if you ever have wired a Prunus Mume before, you know what I'm talking about. Once you pass that March, April window, these things are as chopsticks, man. They break pretty easy even with heavy wiring. So there you go. So if you liked, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. So in this episode, thank you so much, everybody.